shiny object syndrome. I certainly have a level of sympathy and empathy for you folks out there. You got El Jefe here yelling at you through the camera about mindset and final expense and Medicare, and you're surrounded by a constant inundation of people who are successful in this business that tell you kind of similar things but yet different, kind of their strategic focus and how they view the business. How I feel so sorry for it, I really do. Because when you're surrounded by innumerable options, people become confused. And confused people make bad decisions, if they make a decision at all. For example, like when we close insurance business, we only give 2 or 3 options. We don't give them 10, like what you can readily get on YouTube alone, much less any of the other social media. And the more options you give them, the more confused they get. And confused people say, I need to think about it. So you're in a position now where it's hard to make a commitment. I would find this very difficult environment to commit to, because there are organizations that seemingly have their act together, that put on a good show, that tell you what you want to hear, and it's not just one stands out from all of them, there's quite a bit of them. And it's like, well, what do I do? Where do I go? And what if one of those options, or what if most of those options are bad? Because a lot of times what you see isn't actually delivered. Promises made aren't kept. And sometimes that one shot's the only shot you get. So you see, it begins to become concerning that making that wrong decision can be ultimately harmful for your business. And this also contributes to that shiny object syndrome. When things get tough and you find out what you've been doing isn't like what you thought, if you don't understand and have perspective, you might think, oh, I got to shift gears and do mortgage protection instead of the final expense. And then when that gets hard, because one week nobody picks up the phone, well, maybe I should do Medicare, and then on and on and on. And you never really develop a profound and deep understanding of the product and of the market, because you never went through the hard times. You just thought this business would be easy. You just listen to everybody tell you about how easy it is to make money, and you're jumping from one thing to another, and you're never getting that consolidated, focused experience in the business. And that is a very big problem. I don't think it's talked about as much. It absolutely contributes, and I'm part of it too, being on my YouTube channel. Of course, the solution, guys, just unsubscribe from everybody else. Just listen to me. Problem solved, right? But it's a real problem, part of this business, is what do you do, where do you go? And more so, when you commit, do you stay committed? Because there's temptations to uncommit all over the place. What's my advice to you? The best thing I could tell you guys is put on your blinders. Do your due diligence. First of all, do your due diligence. Take your time figuring out where you are going to be a part of in this business. It's a marathon, okay? There's a lot of opportunities here. This business is full. It's chock full of great opportunities. What your job is to do is to take that time to figure out what is best for you. Because final expense may not be for you. Maybe it's Medicare. Maybe it's mortgage protection. Maybe it's something else. But take the time to slow down and research. Don't jump in bed with the first person that comes across and says, hey man, check this out. You love this. Oh yeah? So-and-so MLM. Great, let me join. That's how most people come into this. Hopefully, you think a little differently. So you want to take your time, slow it down, find the right choice. It usually pays off exponentially if you do that. And it causes a lot less of this jumping around thing. The other thing you got to start doing is start taking yourself seriously, okay? And this is coming from somebody who had shiny object syndrome basically throughout his 20s and even slightly in the early 30s. You've got to figure out where you fit in this business. And when you say to yourself and to your family that you're committed, you best commit. Put those blinders on. You know what blinders are, right? Like horses, when they race, they put blinders on so they can't see what's around them. They focus on what's ahead. You got to do that really literally too. Maybe not real blinders, but you get the point. Figuratively, you've got to commit. Put your head down and go all in. It's not going to be fun. It's going to be work. It's going to be hard. And I used to say all the time, if you haven't thought about seriously quitting, then you probably aren't that committed. So that's what it takes to be successful. And the thing that's hard about commitment is that commitment is saying yes to one thing and no to a lot of other things. And in a world where there's temptations that draw you away, that say this is better or that's better, or we love this or that, it's hard. I don't really have an answer for you, but I want you to be prepared for what to expect. And that's why due diligence and thoughtful consideration before you commit is absolutely important.